everybody, it's Wendy Cranford. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here. Today we are going to make a fun shaker card using the Thoughtful Banners stamp set and the Shooting Star framelit and stamp set. It's a bundle, and the layering circles. So the first thing I have here is one of the circles out of the layering circle stamp set. You could use whichever circle size you want, and then you're just going to need the next circle size up from this. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot here, and I have a whole bunch of stuff to Big Shot, and I'm just going to die cut everything that I need to die cut first before I do anything else, because it's just easier that way to get the Big Shot out once and go ahead and cut everything that needs to be cut. So I'm using the magnetic platform, and that sucks my framelit down to the surface so that I don't have to use Post-it or sticky tape to hold my framelit in place. I really love the magnetic platform for the Big Shot. And then that is basically the base of my my shaker card. Then I need to cut a little red rim to go around the opening of my shaker card. So that's what I'm doing here. And I just put the two circles together that layer the closest or nest the closest together. And you'll see that it leaves me with a little rim piece, and then it's actually cuts out the circle too in the center. So you could save that and use that later for another card if you wanted to. And then last but not least, I need to cut out my little shooting star. So to do that, I wanted to stamp my star first. And I do want to mention that I am going to be doing some Copic coloring of this star. So the other white paper you saw was Whisper White cardstock. This is Crafter Companion cardstock from Spectrum Noir. And I use this because it works better with Copic markers. So every single product I use is listed over on my website. The description below this video has a link to my website. So if you go to the link in the description of the video, you'll be able to click on that link and it will take you to my blog, and at the bottom of that blog post are all my supplies. And I also list my non-Stampin' Up! Supplies. So I use the Crafter Companion cardstock for this part only because it just allows the blending of the markers a little bit better. So I've sped this part of the video up because I'm pretty slow at my Copic coloring. And so I didn't want you guys to have to sit through all of that. I'm using R14, R24, and R29 to color the red. And I'm just doing the lightest all the way over the star. Then the medium tone will go halfway. And then the darkest tone goes just right at the edge. And then I blend that all out. Then I have my blue markers, which are R24, R26, and R29. Or, not R, B, I'm sorry. B24, B26, and B29. And I'm doing the same blending method on these, where I'm just using the medium tone to go like halfway down the star, and then the darkest tone just right at the top, and then taking the other markers to go ahead and blend out all of the colors so that just like looks like one gradient color. I really recommend, if you're new to Copics, to take online card classes, Copic marker class, and or Sandy Allnock's Copic Jumpstart class. They're pretty inexpensive classes, and both of them will give you the start you need with Copics. They just have amazing tutorials there. So if you're looking to get into Copic coloring, that's where you should start, because that's where I started, and I'm getting pretty darn good at it, if I do say so myself. Of course, the more you practice, the better you get at any of this stuff. So that has a lot to do with it too. So, all right, I'm adding fast fuse adhesive here to a piece of 3x3 acetate or window sheet. You can buy 12x12 window sheets from Stampin' Up! And then I'm covering that hole with that acetate, and that's so that it will trap my sequins inside. And then I'm going to take Stampin' Up's brand new dimensional tape. I love this stuff. So let me give you a little tip about this. This stuff is thicker or taller, however you want to describe it, than regular dimensionals from Stampin' Up! So it lends itself to using specifically for shaker cards, which I love. So the trick is this: if you remove all of the backing paper from it, If you hear me flipping through the catalog, it's because I'm trying to do my voiceover and flip through the catalog so that I can get the information for you right here about these little sticky sheets. So if you remove the backing from it, it will bend perfectly around in a circle. These are the new loves of my life for shaker cards. I'm probably going to be doing 10 times more shaker cards because this made it so much easier to do a shaker card. Okay, these are foam adhesive strips. They're $8 and you get 10 yards of this stuff. So I love this stuff. It's fantastic. And again, if you want to get a hold of some of this, you can purchase it in my online store. Just click the link in the description below the video and it'll take you to my blog. If you're not watching this from my blog, of course. All right, I have a handful of really fun, beautiful blue sequins here with white. If you hear my dog whining in the background, I'm sorry. It's because my little girl went outside and so now the dog's throwing a fit because she wants to be outside. So I'll have to go let her outside here after I'm done with the video. All right, and then I have some red sequins that I got from a little craft store right in my town. It's actually not even a craft store. It's just like a little marketplace, and they randomly have sequins. I don't know why, but they do. So I bought a bunch of different colors, and they were $1.99 for all of these red sequins, and they have them in green and blue, and so I don't know, I was excited about that. So there's my shaker bits, and I just am making sure that all the shaker bits are off the adhesive so that when I put my little backing on here, it sticks. This is a 3x3 Whisper White cardstock that I'm adding onto the back to close up my shaker window. And then I'm going to add some more of that foam adhesive strip all the way around that piece and layer it down to my card. So my card base is cut at 4 1/4 by 5.5, or I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then it's folded in half to make a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. And then my piece that I'm adhering to the front is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, I think. And so I'm just adhering that down to the front of my card. Now comes all the decorating part. This part has been all put together really nice, and so now I'm just going to add some decorations. The little red strip that I cut earlier, I'm going to just go ahead and adhere that. Now, usually I would use my fine tip glue pen for this, but I forgot to bring it into my video area. So I went ahead and used adhesive, which you can do, and just pulled it off of the paper. So it just works perfectly to do it like that as well. And I'm just making sure I don't have any sticky pieces on the front of that. I'm going to go ahead and layer that down all the way around the little circle, and that just kind of defines that circle area so that your eye doesn't leave that area. It kind of focuses in on it. Then I'm going to add Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of my little star to pop my star up because I want it sticking up so it's super cute and fun popping off of the page. And I went ahead and I made this star like it's coming down instead of shooting up. And I did that because I wanted this on the right hand side of my shaker window, and the only way to do that without doing mirror stamping was to have it falling down, and I actually ended up really liking it like that. And of course, if you haven't caught the theme by now, everything is red, white, and blue for 4th of July. So while we're on the subject of 4th of July, I do just want to throw out there a big thank you to all the soldiers, all the veterans, all of the amazing people that make our country great in the United States and keep it that way and protect and serve our country. So my hat's off to you, and I thank you for your service. And Molly thanks you for your service as well, apparently. She's barking in the background. So I'm just going through here now and adding some more sequins to this card. As you can see, I went and got my little Tombow fine tip glue pen there, and I am now adhering these sequins down. I call it my Tombow glue pen because I actually added Tombow glue to this. So it's not just the fine tip glue that comes in the Stampin' Up! Bottle. I added my own and made a little concoction of my own there. I'm also adding rhinestones because I just want this card to be super shiny and bright and glittery and have just lots of fun to it. The one thing I didn't do in the video that I ended up doing later was adding Wink of Stella to that star. And Wink of Stella is just a really cute pin that has glitter that comes out of the tip of it. And it makes stuff like shiny. I guess it's really not glitter. It's just like a shiny lacquer, I guess you could say, maybe. I don't know. It goes over the top and it makes whatever you put on, whatever you put it on, it shines. So I'm adding some more sequins here, and this just takes me a little while. You'll notice there's a lot of white space on my card. So I am a white space junkie. I love lots of white space. I like cards to have a focal point. I'm not big on busy cards with stuff everywhere. It's just who I am. That's the clean and simple look really appeals to me. It speaks to my soul somehow, and it makes me feel super happy. So when I create a card like this where there's all this white space, I just feel happy when I look at it. So you should know that. And I have to say, I've been making cards now for about 5 years, and the progression of me making cards is very interesting. If you go back and watch some of my very first YouTube videos, you can really watch over time how, I just recently noticed this, you can really watch over time how you evolve as a card maker, and you kind of find your own place or your own balance or your own style, maybe is the best word for it, of making your cards. And I really, just in the last year here, I've really settled into my style of card and what I really like. That was just a little strip of soft sky, by the way, that I cut a little fishtail in and put it down. And then I have a piece of basic black cardstock here that I'm just using my powder tool on. And then I'm going to use Versamark ink to stamp my little Celebrate sentiment and stamp that down and add white embossing powder to it and heat set it. And I also wanted to tell you that part of the reason I made this card, it's like a double duty thing. My husband has been going through a really crazy work thing. He left, I don't know if I've talked about this at all in a previous video, but he left a previous job, started a new job, and it's been like a 4-month hiring process for him to get this job. He will be officially starting on Tuesday, I guess you could say. He will be an apprentice lineman, and he's been in a 2-week training. And during the 2-week training, you are actually considered a temporary employee. So he has had to do physical tests and written tests every single day. And it's over 100 degrees here. And he has been out in the heat all day long, working his hind end off. And I am so proud of him. So one of these cards is for him because it's 4th of July weekend and I want him to celebrate. I'm getting teary-eyed while I'm talking about this. Like, I'm starting to get choked up because I'm just so proud of him. He's worked so incredibly hard to get this job, and he's finally passed the part that we were nervous about, because at any point during this last 2 weeks, they could have cut him. They could have just said, nope, you're done. We don't want you. Like, if he messed up or anything. That's why they hire him as a temporary employee. So I'm super excited that he's passed that, and come tomorrow, I mean, I guess tomorrow technically he could, or today he could technically mess up, but I don't think that'll happen. So he will officially be hired, and we will be able to breathe again and know that we'll have regular paychecks. So that's wonderful. So then he'll be an apprentice for several years, and it's quite a grueling process, the apprenticeship is. So our family's going through a big transition right now, and we're all learning how to cope still. All right, so there's my Celebrate card. There's a little bit about my family you may or may not have cared to know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see other shaker card videos, you can click on either one of these images to go to those videos. If you're on a computer, if you're on a phone or a tablet, you won't be able to click on those. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.